So my essence for the last 10 years has been to raise awareness of problems, issues that people won't speak about, issues people are too scared to talk about. We have fear is paralysing, and fear in the UK has paralysed our entire political elite, our police forces, our social services. If you follow the instances in the UK, you'd have seen about the grooming epidemic, the rapes of young English girls by gangs of Muslim men. Police let it happen because they were scared of being called racist. So my goal is to wake people up, to make them aware of the problems.
This program was actually the first in Denmark to meet you, to interview you. Back in 2011, we went to Luton, where you come from, in England, and had a meeting with you. Have a look.
Oh, wow. Let's see.
People are just fed up what's going on to our country, fed up with what's happening to our country.
What is happening?
It's being Islamified in a serious way. We're being treated like second-class citizens in our own towns and cities. There's a two-tier policing system, a two-tier funding system. We have a master race in Britain, and that's Islam.
Has the focus of your work since then changed?
No. In fact, since then, over 2,000 British Muslims have gone to fight for ISIS. We've seen probably nearly, 8 serious terrorist attacks. We've seen soldiers beheaded. We've seen children blown up at concert halls. All things we were talking about. The only benefit since then is that now people are aware. The issues that I was raising awareness of back then are now accepted by the masses. Academics now talk about them, whereas they were hidden for generations.
Now, you claim that you're not able to fully exercise your freedom of speech today because of bans on different platforms. But anyone who wants to can follow you, can't they, on Rebel Media, on the encrypted social media platform Telegram?
No, so I'm not on Rebel Media, no. No, I'm not on Rebel Media.
You're not with the Rebel Media anymore?
No, I haven't been with the Rebel Media. If I had made a video for the Rebel Media, straight away YouTube would block it out so people can't see it if it was my video. I do use Telegram, but essentially I used to speak to the masses and they took that ability away from me. And that's organised, that's planned, that's pressure by government. So we have government interfering with private business, pressurising them to remove dissident voices. That's fascism.
You also are, like here, a guest on traditional programs in traditional media. So you have your outlets.
Not anymore.
You get to say things.
No, not anymore.
What you want to see. So what's the problem?
Not anymore. Find me the last time I was on traditional network in the UK. So not anymore. They used to give me a platform like you're giving me now, but then the public agreed with me on all the issues I was raising. And whereas they got me on to try and belittle me and try and ruin my argument, I end up winning every argument because I've got the truth on my side. They're real issues. So I connect with the public who are listening because they know what I'm saying is a real issue and everyone wants it spoken about. Now, I'm banned from YouTube, Snapchat, Facebook, even PayPal, Stripe. I'm not allowed any social media. I've not been convicted of any hate crime. I've never even been arrested for a hate crime. So
in court?
In court, I've never been arrested, no. So we have laws, the same in this country. We have laws preventing hate speech. Yeah. If I broke those laws, I'd be arrested. So I haven't committed any crime, yet Silicon Valley, big tech, with the influence of the establishment, are now deciding who can and can't have platforms.
Their rules, they claim, you have broken. And they say that when you broke them, you did it by inciting hatred. When they banned you early last year, they said that you had gotten a written warning in January because you had posted a number of posts in which you called Muslims filthy scum, where you urged people to terrorize those who follow the Quran, and where you called for a war on Muslims. And when they banned you, they said that Tommy Robertson's Facebook page has repeatedly broken these standards, posting material that uses dehumanizing language and calls for violence targeted at Muslims. He has also behaved in ways that violate our policies around organized hate.
Do you know when they banned me?
Can I ask you the question?
Yeah.
You might be fighting for freedom of speech, but nowhere is freedom of speech without limits. Even those who fight for freedom of speech, there are rules. And on Facebook, there's Facebook's rules. Yeah. So your freedom of speech has only been curtailed on privately owned platforms where you broke the rules.
Have you tried to find any evidence to what they've said in that statement?
So what they're saying is untrue?
I'm asking you.
Yes, I have.
And have you found any?
Well, they've deleted it.
Oh, they've deleted it. So you don't think that if I posted any of those messages, you don't think a journalist would have copied them and there'd have been a story about it?
According to, for instance, the BBC, that was what was in the postings.
Yeah, that's what the BBC say. Now, this documentary, I mean, I was removed from Facebook 24 hours after I produced a documentary called Panodrama. Panodrama, I went undercover on the BBC. The BBC's flagship program...
This is not about the BBC.
No, it is. That's why I was removed.
This is not a discussion about the BBC.
I was removed within 24 hours of publishing that documentary. And this is lies. And if it was true, there'd be some evidence of it. Now, you're sitting here with me. That's a lie, a total lie, OK? There's no evidence to
it. So the BBC is lying? All the mainstream media in Britain is lying about what you posted?
No one in the mainstream media has shown any evidence of these posts. There is no evidence. I watched one of your journalists.
Mainstream media.
I watched one of your journalists on this show ask the communications officer for Nordic countries to give evidence of this, and he said he can't. I watched it on your show. Now,
right. Let me show you another clip, this time of a fellow Brit who has been jailed and banned from social media for what he said. Like yourself, he was a guest in our program some years ago. Have a look at this one.
I'm not encouraging anyone to go and join ISIS, you see, or Al-Qaeda, or to carry out any operations, for example, you know, in Denmark or Britain or anything like this. However, we are a global community, meaning the Muslims worldwide, we say, are one ummah, their community. If part of it feels pain, we feel the pain. If they're being attacked, then we also are being attacked. And therefore, when you attack my brother, for example, you know, in Chechnya or anywhere in the world, yes, I will respond.
Anjem Choudary, who is a British Islamist and who was jailed for hate speech.
No,
and for encouraging Brits to join ISIS.
Jailed for terrorism. He's a convicted terrorist.
He is. He was also, apart from that, banned from social media platforms. When it comes to the ban on social media platforms and the incitement to hatred and violence, what is the difference on that particular matter between you and Anjem Choudary?
That Anjem Choudary wants to kill people and enforce Sharia law, I want to stop him. That's the difference. There's no evidence. Again, the comments you just made, no one's ever seen any evidence of. I've told you when this happened. It come out when I embarrassed the British establishment. That's when it happened. Now, if you go on Facebook now, look up Muslim Brotherhood. The Muslim Brotherhood are a prescribed terrorist organisation with a Facebook page. OK? Let's not pretend that my removal from Facebook was anything to do with their rules or regulations on hate speech. It was to do with the fact that I had reached mainstream. I was embarrassing the British establishment. I was highlighting the serious issues that Europe has with the demographics and the Islamic immigration, the real issues. And I have a duty as an English man and as a father to protect and give a safe and prosperous future to my children. And right now, it's terrifying, the situation Europe's in.
It's not just the media in Britain that's caused you problems. A high-ranking police officer claimed that you are responsible for radicalizing people and inspiring them to do a terrorist attack, namely the one by Darren Osborne back in 2017, where he drove a van into a group of Muslims outside a mosque in Finsbury, killing one person, injuring several others. One of Britain's highest-ranking anti-terror officers also said this. Again,
yeah.
There are similarities across from, they say, the Islamists to the extreme right wing. Anjem Choudary was very assiduous in staying the right side of the line legally for a very, very long time until he slipped up in expressing support for the Islamic State, and that enabled us to put him in prison. I think Tommy Robertson, I think in some ways, is doing exactly the same.
He's comparing you to a convicted extremist.
Oh, no, it's a total disgrace that he's allowed to even do that.
Are you saying then that we can't trust British police when it comes to issues of extremism, Islam and free speech?
If you want to trust British police, then shall I read you a statement from the head of the British anti-extremism unit? The entire time I led the English Defence League, he never categorised it as a far-right organisation. What this is leading police officers, and when you say, can we trust the police? Everyone in Denmark saw why I was unlawfully and illegally imprisoned for reporting on something. No, we can't trust the police. Not when can we trust the police? The police allowed a generation of our daughters to be gang raped by gangs of men. No, we can't trust the police. Can we trust that police officer there? He's lying.
So,
if I was radicalising people, I'd have been arrested, questioned. Okay, telling the truth is not radicalising. Hate speech is not radicalising. The truth is not hate speech. Now, Darren Osborne actually gave all of the reasons why he committed a terrorist attack. He justified it all. He gave his justification for why he done what he done. He did not mention myself.
So, the police, in this case, cannot be trusted. Politicians from left to right cannot be trusted. The mainstream media, the big media outlets, and also the big companies that own the social media platforms, all of them seems to have turned against you, or turned against your cause.
You mean all of the elite? All of the elite? The establishment elite?
Is it correct to say that there is conspiracy?
No, it's correct to say that there's a globalist agenda which wants open borders, which wants mass migration. And anyone who speaks out against that and starts highlighting the problems from it, which wakes up the population to the dangers of it.
That sounds like a conspiracy.
It's not a conspiracy. It's a reality. It's happening. It's a reality. Everyone can see it.
But it's police, it's secret services, it's politicians.
It's deep state.
It's big tech companies all going, deep state, all going in the same direction?
Totally. But the thing is, you say that like people are not going to accept it. Everyone knows it. This is now, everyone knows it's happening. No one trusts the media. Even though I'm sitting on your programme, yeah? In Britain, no one trusts the mainstream media. And they have good reason not to trust them. In fact, in a European survey, the biggest distrust out of all the countries in Europe is not the old Eastern Bloc countries with the media, it's Britain.